to the Passionate Pundits, your opportunity to increase your knowledge of natural health and healing, a viable alternative to modern Western medicine. With your host, holistic chiropractor Dr. Juliadeer and nutritional consultant Deb St.Hilaire.
Well, hello, Julia.
Hi, Deb. How are you today?
I'm really good because the sun is out.
Yes, it's beautiful outside. I love this warmth.
It is. It's even warm in here, and it's usually cold in here.
Yeah.
Yep. You're all comfy sitting there.
I am very much so.
So welcome to W4 Divas.
Thank you. I'm super excited to be here. I think this is going to be an awesome show. I just can't wait to hear what comes out of our mouths.
It is always a surprise, isn't it?
A little bit.
That was funny. You're damn funny. So why did we decide to do this show?
Well, it was kind of a brainchild of ours together. And one of the biggest things that I try to do is to bring information about natural healing and natural health to the community. A lot of people that live in our area don't know that there are a lot of healers, a lot of natural, holistic practitioners around. And because we're all individualized and, there's not a lot of marketing behind it, it's hard to get word out. So there are a lot of opportunities for natural health and natural healing in our area, and I just really want the community to be aware and know that they do have a viable alternative to, say, traditional Western medicine.
Yes, and me too. And you know what? It shocks me how many different options there are in this area. I never knew it until I started. I was really happy to meet you.
Thank you.
And you're welcome, because right at that same time, it seems to be like a growing community. Do you agree?
Absolutely, I do. And I am a holistic chiropractor. And in my definition of that term, that means whole body. Holistic, the definition is kind of a broad spectrum. People apply that to many different modalities of healing. For me, it means whole body. And what I mean by that is mind, body, soul. So I am working head to toe, reflexology points, getting organ systems working properly, helping the function of the body to regulate so that we have optimal health. So it's not just about cracking bones and putting them in place, and that's part of it, but structure is only one piece of the puzzle. So for someone to be completely healthy, they need all the pieces of the puzzle. And I don't have all of those pieces, but what I'd like to do is start to introduce people to the fact that there are several different components to feeling healthy and having natural health.
Right. I agree 100% with you. And I call myself a holistic life coach because I don't just look at your life. I look at what's going on in it,
right,
and how you're eating, and if you're comfortable in your own skin. And I have certifications from exercise physiology to nutrition,
yes,
and everything in between. So
the whole king and caboodle, right?
Right.
Holistic, whole body.
Right.
And, for me, the layers that I look at in my office are structural, biomechanical, so how you move, ergonomics, how you're working, how your body is doing these things, also emotional layers, also nutritional layers, organ system functions. A lot of people come to me for many different issues. I don't just have people come to me for back pain. In fact, that's probably maybe a third of what people come to me for. I have people that come to me for everything from fertility to emotional distress. A lot of times when we're under stress, and in this society, our society is just so heavily burdened with stress.
Right.
And we all are trying to keep up with that, there are all kinds of layers and people just don't even know where to turn to start with it. And it could be an adrenal problem. It could be a hormonal problem. It could be a structural nervous system problem. It could be that there are, portions of their brain that have pressure on it due to the cranial bones being pressed upon different parts of the brain. So all of these contributing factors are different in everybody's situation. So truly, we need to identify those individually and then address them for the individual, because not everybody's the same.
Right. And one of the things I really like about our appointments is that you ask a bunch of questions.
I do. I delve in, don't I?
Yes. And so I feel like you really know me. You know if my back pain is from something that I've done physically or from something that's bothering me
in other ways.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
exactly.
is manifesting itself physically.
Mm-hmm.
So I really appreciate that about you, the way and that you test. I think that's really good, because there's so many different ways that disease manifests itself.
Exactly.
And you look into all aspects of it and don't mask the symptoms. You treat the symptoms.
That's right. We try to get down to the root cause of it, because, anybody can give you a pill to cover something up, but we really have to figure out the underlying issues.
And that's another thing that we agree on as well. And don't get me wrong, I think doctors are great and I really admire them.
Absolutely.
But you are a doctor as well.
Yes, I'm a doctor of chiropractic, and, very much we're apples and oranges, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
Medical doctors and chiropractors are totally different. We come at things from different perspectives. We have a different philosophy when it comes to the healing, but we both have our place. And, I tell people all the time, if I get in a car accident and I need my leg attached, take me to the emergency room. Don't take me to my chiropractor. Go to the emergency room.
Right.
But they're there for a reason. And those things that they help us with are wonderful. But again, I want to try to get to the root of the issue. I want to try to find out, why is your body doing this?
Mm-hmm.
I have people all the time come in with long laundry lists of medications, and I kind of go through them with them, and I say, well, what are you taking this for? And how long you been on it? How has your body changed since you've been taking it? And across the board, it seems like, they don't know. They don't really...
They blindly take
They're just taking them, and they don't really know how it's affecting them. And is it affecting them? And a lot of times they'll say, no, I don't feel much better, but I've been on this for 6 months.
Right.
Well, then there's an issue.
Right. Yeah, something's going on there. Or the thing that really bugs me, and I know we've had this conversation, is that, okay, I go in for headaches, and I get a medicine for a headache, and now I get stomach aches. So I go back in and say, I have a stomach ache. And now I get another pill for a stomach ache that was from the headache medicine. And that laundry list just keeps going.
Exactly. The side effects. So, we're not only dealing with our original issue, but we're also dealing with the side effects of the medications we're taking to try to help us. So, I, as a chiropractor, look at things from a third-party, non-biased view. I mean, I don't automatically assume every problem that walks through my door is because a side effect from a medication.
Oh, right.
But at the same time, I have to take that all into account, because if I don't, I might have missed something. I had a patient not too long ago, which was really interesting. It was a young boy. He was in his teens, probably 16 years old. He came in for neck pain. He had very stiff muscles. His whole neck was just tied up in knots and just very stiff. And I worked on him the first time, and a lot was there, and we kind of addressed the multiple issues for him. He felt much better when he left, came back the next week, felt the same. No different. He had gotten right back to the same way. I said, well, that's really strange. And, I felt like there was progress. And so I worked at it again, and I went back through his medications, and I said, this one medication, let me look something up. So he had been on this particular medication for about a year. I don't remember the name of it, so I don't know. But I looked at the side effects, and it was hypertonicity of the muscles, and it can cause spasms and tremors.
Wow.
And so the tremor was the interesting thing. So I asked him, I said, do you feel like you shake? And he said, yeah, my head shakes all the time. And I said, It does. And his mom was sitting there and she said, it does? She said, well, why didn't you tell me? Well, because young boy, he's like, oh, I didn't think anything of it.
Right.
Well, sure enough, that was a side effect to the medication. So this whole time, this poor boy, so that he emotionally wouldn't have to deal with people teasing him about shaking his head, was holding it tight. And he was literally forcing his muscles to hold that neck solid so that he wouldn't shake his head, so that he wouldn't have to deal with people in school going, why is your head shaking? Why is your
Wow.
It's an embarrassing thing. People who have tremors, I have older people who have what's called essential tremors that come in and they say, can you just please help me with this? Because I hate that people ask me all the time.
Audrey Hepburn, I always think of. She had that.
Yes. And, you know, it's just a part of life. And for some people, there is some things we can do to help simmer it down, but if that's part of them, that's part of them. So I help them to accept that, obviously, and to understand and learn that that's just part of nature, and they, you know, have to find a way to accept it. This 16-year-old boy did not have to accept that.
Right.
And that's what he had been doing. He had just been holding his neck so tight.
Something?
Yeah. And that's what kept bringing it back and making him miserable. So I just asked his mom simply to go back and speak to the medical practitioner that prescribed it, because obviously he was having, and actually we went through the list of symptoms. He had 10 out of 12 of them of the side effects, but she didn't know.
Right.
And he didn't know because he didn't know that those things
And sometimes I think that if you read all the side effects of medicine, it brings on psychosomatic symptoms as well.
Yeah, I mean, there is a danger in educating, over-educating, you know, or, you know, people go online and they start Googling their symptoms. They're like, oh my gosh, I'm dying, you know. But, yeah, but we try to kind of, you know, just peel back those layers and figure it out and get to the root of the issue. And it's different for everyone.
Right. Which it makes your job interesting.
Oh my goodness. Talk about interesting. Yes. And that's the thing. I never know what's going to walk through my door. Right. Every 10 minutes I get a new puzzle to figure out, you know? So
but the cool thing is that you delve into it and work on it. And I really admire that. So one of the reasons that we decided to do the show is because we can talk.
Yes, we can talk.
And we agreed that the body heals itself if you give it a chance.
Absolutely. And
we wanted to let people know that there are some alternatives and that maybe we don't have all the answers by far, but we know we're learning more and more about different people and different modalities and how things work in conjunction with other things, which is really good. So I know you've had a lot of different things going on in your office right now, but they're kind of
there's a unique thing
yes.
that's happening in the community as of late. And I kind of go through this, and I just want to say hi to everybody. Hi to everybody. I've got a few people who have said things to me. And if you're on the live broadcast, feel free to type in some questions. If I can get to them, I will. If you have anything you want to add or ask about, feel free to do that. I'll be happy to answer questions. Let's say hi to Lynn and Kale, and hi to Tamara and Faith. Thank you for tuning in. I appreciate it. So yeah, what I find, which is when I first came into practice, which was about 14 years ago, I came out of school, I started practicing. I started noticing trends in the office. And I've talked to other practitioners, and they tell me the same thing happens to them. You'll get a whole group of people that have nothing to do with one another, that have the same symptoms or the same issues going on. And it's very strange to me. And at first I started to think maybe it was sort of a viral thing, like everybody was catching a virus, and maybe that's why they were all coming in with the same pattern, because the virus was attacking them in the same way, or whatever the case may be. But I don't know. I think it has more to do with who we are and what we're doing. And, you know, the people in our area all seem to have a tendency to eat similar foods and do similar things. And the seasons are changing and our bodies are reacting to all of that.